Thank you. Thank you so much, dear friends. It's really an honor to have contributed to this wonderful work and also to have, the space to express who I am and to introduce myself without, the fear of the checkpoint sensitivity and without being pushed against the wall because I said my name or because I revealed my identity as Palestinian. So it is me, Muhammad Rafik Mhawesh. I am a Gaza-based Palestinian 22-year-old writer and journalist. I was born in Gaza during the second intifada. So it was between the smoky smell of gunshots and the crying children when my mother gave birth to me. But I'm telling you, if I had the cognitive awareness of what war was, I might have slipped back into my mother's womb. But instead, the only option was and continues to be is to live through it. 22 years after that evening, I still and my family lived through the rumbling of war plans and surveillance drones, the routine of sleepless nights and the thumping, restless heartbeats as still our companion. The tragedy also of war has imposed itself as my lifelong companion. Um, what's worse than that, it has also imposed itself as the companion of hundreds of thousands like me in Gaza and in Palestine. Somehow it feels like a direct attack on my childhood. And what were supposed to be normal school days, I can recall with memories of rockets falling. The images of are mostly blurry, but the fear I felt when I ran from my school in hopes to escape the violent assaults on my city. I mean, also with the legs running directionless, are all still and remain vivid in my mind. It's me, Muhammad, but since I was young, I have borne witness to the unfolding of my family's dire circumstances. Personally, I have lost four relatives, one by one, to disease. I thought that we could have been afforded more time, but and let's say it, their sin of being Palestinians, of being Gazan, meant they were not permitted to exit this land and to access the needed medications and treatment. So as Gazans, we are isolated in a debilitating humanitarian crisis that pushes us further into de-development, especially in the important sectors like healthcare and education and economy. We are also, as Palestinians in Gaza, stripped of the ability to seek external resources and support because medical referrals are tied to the political situation. I mean, like depending on political dynamics. One month you have a better opportunity to exit and others you do not. So if you're fortunate, you get ill in the right month. It is so taxing to maintain this kind of perseverance across an entire population. And it makes me wonder at all those who took the chance to carve a new future for us only to be killed. I'm in awe at their spirit and also the spirit of their children who were stripped of childhood, orphaned, and left with no health sector or education opportunities, isolated and guided only by hopeful dreams and the yearning to be laughing and bickering at the sea just for the sake of laughing and bickering and having ice cream, while they still release freely that they are Palestinian. I think Sarah has expressed at its best what it's really of a meaning to be a Palestinian in a refugee camp. But I also wanted to experience and know by asking her about the most challenging identity struggle you would encounter as a refugee Palestinian in an Arab neighboring country.
I grew up in El Yarmouk camp in Syria as a Palestinian. And I think that the stigma of being a refugee never truly goes away. And that is one of the hardest things to wrestle with, that humanity being taken away from you. And I loved my time in Syria. I truly did. I want to say we were treated as good and as bad as any Syrian was. My mom was able to continue her education. She earned a PhD. She taught at Damascus University. So there was some support, but at the same time, there were always these reminders that you are not from here, that you're taking something from the people who are born and whose families are from here. So Palestinians were the first to be disowned, let's say, and to be told, well, you were temporary here anyway. Why don't you leave again? And indeed, most refugees in Europe now are Palestinians who lived in Syria. Um, I have lots of family who walked from Syria to Turkey and took boats to Greece until they landed in Europe. So it pains me to say that the stigma of being a refugee never truly goes away. And this is especially to Palestinians, because wherever we are, that status seems to follow us.